Okay, this is Orlando Wilson. What I want to talk about in this video quickly is communications. And if you're working in the security business, well, and if you're doing any type of business these days, you need good communications. It's funny because we've come across a problem recently where our regular communications, and we usually rely on cell phones, data, etc., completely crashed on us because it was in an area where we didn't have good communications. That made me rethink things because, again, I think these days we're too reliant on smartphones. And I think from now on, in the future, whenever we're doing anything, I'm always going to include non-smartphones with local SIM cards and data, and just rely on for emergency communications when other things fail. We're going back in time to using SMS messages and regular phone calls than trying to rely on messaging apps that, to be honest with you, if you don't have Wi-Fi, they're not going to work. So this is where you always need to take into consideration communications. And again, it's okay having all the fancy apps, all the encrypted apps, etc., but if you don't have Wi-Fi, if you don't have data, if you don't have coverage, they're not going to work. I've said in other videos, always try and have a cell phone with 2 SIM cards on 2 different networks, 100%. And these days I'm not going to be relying on Wi-Fi. I think I've said in other videos, get a mobile hotspot, etc. Yeah, it's all well and good if you got coverage, but if you haven't got coverage, how are you going to communicate? So this goes back down to the old school way of going back to a dumb phone, using SMS messages and regular phone calls. But that's something we're going to be including from now on. I always used to do it, but we got away from it because we were too reliant on Wi-Fi, etc. But when the Wi-Fi doesn't work, you're going to have problems with your communications. So just something to do with communications and close protection. And you got to remember, just because your communications devices work in your local area, if you go to another area, you might not have coverage. If you're going to other countries, check, because your devices and your SIM cards might not work in those areas. Okay, so in the meantime, follow me along on social media. We're up on most platforms, most of the mainstream platforms. We've got a ton of videos up there. I also have an array of books up on Amazon that talk about various aspects of the close protection business, and follow us along. In the meantime, as always, be good, stay safe, and try to stay out of trouble.